Did you know that around 50% of Americans consider immigration a top concern right now? If you're watching this, chances are you're one of them, and with good reason. Trump's 2025 immigration platform has more twists and turns than an afternoon soap opera, and it's easy to feel lost in the details. Whether you're an employer, a concerned citizen, or an immigrant, these policies will affect your life, one way or another. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll walk away ready to tackle any immigration debate with your family and friends. And believe me, you're gonna sound like the smartest person in the room. That's my Trump impersonation. Sorry, not sorry. And I'll break down, not like Selena Gomez, but I'll break down all of Trump's proposals, including his plans to fight illegal immigration from the border wall to mass deportations, his vision for overhauling legal immigration from H-1B visas to a points-based immigration system, and finally, we'll analyze the feasibility of all of this from a social, economic, and legal perspective. There's a lot to cover in a short amount of time, so let's dive in. Starting with immigration proposals. Let's break down Trump's key immigration proposals for 2025 in a way that's easy to digest. So first of all, the border wall. Remember all the talk about the border wall? Well, it's back, but with some futuristic upgrades. Trump's plan includes adding 300 miles of physical barriers, but this time it's not just bricks and mortar. We're talking artificial intelligence-powered surveillance drones and thermal imaging systems. These high-tech tools aim to enhance border security like never before. Secondly, funding the wall. Now, you might wonder who's footing the bill. Previously, there was a lot of debate about Mexico paying for the wall. This time, the proposal suggests a mix of congressional funding and something called remittance fees, charges on money transfers to certain countries, generating an estimated $4 billion annually. Interesting. Next, boosting Border Patrol. Trump wants to hire 5,000 new Border Patrol agents equipped with advanced surveillance and upgraded vehicles, plus a complete overhaul of training programs to prepare them for modern difficulties. And then there's international agreements. Here's an interesting twist. Safe third country plus agreements. The U.S. would collaborate not just with Mexico, but also with Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. This regional approach aims to process asylum claims more efficiently and share responsibility for handling migrants. Next, there's emergency powers. The proposal suggests using national emergency declarations to speed up deportations. These expedited removal procedures could extend across the entire country, not just the borders. And what about the implementation timeframe? Some changes could roll out quickly via executive actions, while others will need congressional approval, meaning full implementation could take 2 to 3 years. Immediate action versus long-term plans, it's a mix of both. All right, and what about the next subject, legal immigration system changes? Now, let's dive into changes to America's legal immigration system. If you've ever navigated this maze, you know it's like assembling IKEA furniture without instructions. Here's what's on the horizon. Firstly, H-1B visa overhaul. Trump proposes a wage-prioritized system instead of a lottery or a quota. So visas would go to companies offering the highest salaries first. For tech firms, this could mean a minimum salary of $150,000 for H-1B workers, reshaping the job candidate landscape altogether. And then there's family reunification, redefined. The new proposal narrows down family-based immigration to just spouses and minor children. This change could slash family-based green cards by about 40%, impacting many who dream of reuniting with loved ones. Next, there's merit-based immigration system. Imagine immigration as a points-based game. The new merit-based system rewards points for education, English proficiency, salary offers, age, and job offers in high-demand fields. It's like leveling up in a video game, but the stakes are a lot higher. It's your future. And then there's asylum application overhauls. Instead of applying at the US border, asylum seekers would have to submit their claims at US embassies abroad first. I'm really not sure how that's going to work when you're trying to escape from danger. And then there's stricter criteria for asylum claims that would be introduced, supposedly streamlining the process. And then there's refugee program restructuring. He would introduce, or the system would introduce, annual caps of refugees that could be set at historically low levels, like 15,000 per year. However, special provisions for religious minorities and individuals who assisted the US military in operations would be included. Okay, next we're going to talk about enforcement and deportation. Let's get into the real impact of these proposed enforcement and deportation policies. If these plans roll out in 2025, here's what you'll actually see happening. Bigger ICE presence. You'll see a massive expansion of ICE operations into cities across the US. More ICE officers, triple the number of officers, and increased workplace raids. If you're an employer, have your I-9 forms ready. Workplace audits and raids could skyrocket. There's then nationwide mandatory E-Verify. Every employer in the US would have to use E-Verify. The system promises near instant verification, but expect penalties if you don't comply. It could be a game changer for hiring processes. And what about sanctuary cities? Prepare for a budget hit. Cities refusing to cooperate with ICE could lose federal funding for law enforcement, transportation, and more. Local police would also be required to share immigration info with federal authorities. And then there will be potentially visa overstay crackdowns. There are an estimated 5.7 million visa overstays in the US, and a new ICE unit will specifically target them, treating them like fugitives and subjecting them to expedited removals. And then there's economic and social impact of all of this. So how would these changes affect your grocery bill, your paycheck, and even your rent? So the cost of it all. This immigration plan comes with a hefty price, $400 billion over 5 years. The money would go to border enforcement, surveillance tech, and expanded infrastructure. Who's footing the bill? Your tax dollars. And then there's the job market and wage impact we need to talk about. If you work in agriculture, construction, or hospitality, expect big changes. Some states estimate losing up to 20% of their workforce. But there is an arguable silver lining. Wages in these industries might increase due to labor shortages. And then there's housing and healthcare. The housing market could be impacted. Rental prices might drop in some states, while prices for new homes could rise due to fewer workers. Healthcare could see longer wait times and higher costs, especially in rural areas where immigrant healthcare workers are vital. Next, we of course have to talk about legislative and legal considerations. Changing immigration policy isn't as simple as flipping a switch. Executive orders can make immediate changes, but others require Congress and the courts to cooperate. And as for executive orders could change border enforcement, deportation procedures, and asylum processing rules, but funding and legal hurdles could slow these down. And then there's legal battles. Legal experts predict lawsuits on several fronts: due process rights, state versus federal powers, and international agreements could create delays and legal battles. And then congressional approval. Some of the biggest changes need Congress to approve. With a divided Congress, these proposals face serious hurdles before any major change can pass. So there you have it. Trump's 2025 immigration proposals are set to shake up American life, and we're talking big changes. From your workplace to your local community, these policies could affect millions of lives in ways you might not expect. So to recap, there can be an economic ripple effect on its way. Be prepared for price hikes, workforce shortages, new job opportunities, albeit low paying. Community changes also will hit fast. Some areas will feel it more than others. New workplace requirements will also be introduced. If you're an employer, stay ahead of these rules. And of course, state by state differences, because every state is different. Your state might go a different route than the next state. And of course, expect legal battles, which could delay or block major parts of these proposals. So what now? If you're an employer, start preparing for stricter workplace verification. If you're an immigrant, heavy industry issues will come up, so start planning for these changes. And if you're a concerned citizen, stay informed and keep an eye on local news as these policies unfold. But remember, these are just proposals. Things will evolve and changes will be made. And of course, if you're an immigrant and you have any legal questions or any legal assistance is needed, don't hesitate to reach out to the American Visa Law Group to book a consultation. The link is in the description. Finally, if you want to stay on top of all of our updates, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any important news. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you think these changes will affect your life? Until next time, stay informed, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.